Hey, welcome to Web3 Weekly with your host, Blockstar Technology.
Let's go.
All right. Welcome everyone to our Web3 Weekly, episode 36. So today is a little bit technical than normal. Normally we talk about more like about market, what's happening, more like market conditions, what's coming new, what's happening. But this one we picked crypto forensic, which is not super technical, but also it's not non-technical either. So there's a bit of element of technicality and non-technicality, but I think this is something that all of us in the future that we might need this service.
Yeah.
And also we had to be aware of it as well as, and when we start using more and more of crypto as well for our, it's coming out slowly from being a technical thing to a more like non-technical thing. So on that note, today we are missing Charlie and Maureen, but you have
Hi guys.
Kosi and Craig instead. All right. So guys, we're going to start getting into it. So Craig.
Yes.
Now you are heading the crypto forensic team here at Blockstars.
Yes.
So let's give a bit of a rundown to the viewers about the team, that our forensic team, before we get started into the more nitty-gritty.
Well, how far down do you want to go? Because
I would say, we don't have too much time, so let's give a bit of a, like helicopter view.
Okay.
So what is our service? What do we provide? What are the what other people can expect from our service as well? And then we can dive a little bit deeper into these.
The service is end-to-end, I guess, which is one of the differentiators between us and a lot of other people out there, where it's not only just the investigative side of it, but there's a whole lot of stuff that goes around this, not only from the way that it's investigated, using multiple sources of, well, it's the same data, but multiple ways of looking at analyzing the data. There's a whole heap of, legal regulation, compliance stuff that goes around it and things like that as well. So besides just having the team of investigators, it's actually a bigger team than that, and we handle it from end to end.
That's awesome. And one of the things that I heard in the past is like, with the software, it's all because it's on chain, or we can track it like Etherscan or Polis, so we can go and just track it, right? And for me, how I understand it, it's like saying, okay, here's Photoshop, now go and do a design. Right? I think you need that knowledge. You have to have that like investigator instinct, right?
I know, well, maybe not with the newest versions, but like almost every button in Photoshop, to use that example. I can crop and modify and do all sorts of, but absolutely no creative or artistic skill whatsoever. So even knowing how to use the software is one thing, but understanding the ecosystem and having that sort of broader view and knowing what it is that you're looking for, it needs to have that artistic flair.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. And so we do provide the track and trace service at Blockstars, and these services can be used by anyone who wants to find out about where the crypto been spent, how it's been spent, where it's been spent. And one of the things that before we really get started, I just had to say, like, people expect, like, oh, for us to get access, so that we can get the money back, crypto back, but we can't do that. We can't go and get into a wallet and then take the crypto and give it to them. But all we can do is we can do a track and trace and help that where the funds sit.
Crypto sits. If you think of it like even old school, you will have seen movies where they're tracing phone calls through several hops and things like that.
Yep.
That doesn't mean that you can, grab the guy by the collar at the end, but you know where he is. So you at least know where to go and look and send people in.
Yeah, 100%. So, all right, guys. So we're going to start getting into into our podcast. All right. So now crypto has been like really ramping up, right? I think from 2017 is a bit of a big, bit of a bull market, and as you know, when the bull market happens, that's when people become a little bit like, the FOMO kicks in, like FOMO, like fear of missing out kicks in, and then people start doing really. They were like really intelligent people start making mistakes, and so. And that's how they get caught into these scams, and from there pretty much things get bad. And how they do it is that they have their like MetaMask wallets or they have their exchange wallets, and the exchange wallets get hacked as well. I had a wallet with an exchange, not wallet, but crypto with an exchange. An exchange based over in the US that time, but now they're not there. And they got hacked. And this was in 2017. So then I'm like, oh, damn, I lost like, a few ETH there. And I'm like, it really left a bad taste in my mouth, So then since then I had to, I start pulling those crypto out into my wallet. So I think, can you give us a little bit of a rundown on these types of wallets, what these wallets are, how they keep it, what are the, almost like the risk factor I would like to talk about.
So you've got, as you said, there's a multitude of wallets. You've got custodial wallets and non-custodial wallets.
So what is a custodial wallet?
A custodial wallet is generally the type of wallet that you would get at an exchange.
Got it. So someone has got the private
Somebody
keys.
else has got the private keys.
Got it. Yep.
And if Charlie was here, he's probably screaming if he's watching right now, not your keys, not your crypto.
Yes.
Because that's how it works, which is obviously what's happened with your exchange wallet that you just mentioned. While you have access to that wallet, you don't actually have access to the keys to sign anything. It's all done on your behalf through the exchange.
Yeah.
Whereas with a non-custodial wallet, then it's entirely on you. There are many types of non-custodial wallets, being hot wallets and cold wallets. The difference between being a hot wallet's connected, to the network, and a cold wallet is not. And then even in amongst those, you've got your software wallets. Plugins, browser plugins like MetaMask and things like that. You've got hardware wallets that will be a device that you plug in that will never expose your private keys to the network, but will use either a passcode or a PIN or something for you to then use it to sign. And then there are quite often plugins that go along with those hardware wallets into things like MetaMask to allow you to transact through MetaMask once the wallet's plugged into your system.
And one of the things that when you said like, the private keys are never revealed, one of the things that just come out, I would say in the last maybe 3 days or so, 3 or 2 or 3 days, about Ledger.
Yeah.
Now Ledger being a hardware wallet, cold wallet, and now they're saying for a monthly fee, they can recover your wallet for you. And there are some people are not very happy about it, but other people are like, okay, that's okay, because it's up to you whether you want to pay the subscription and have that special option. And people who are who are like purists in the crypto space, they don't have to pay this subscription and they can have the cold wallet as it is, right?
I don't know the exact technical specifics of how and what it is that they're doing. They haven't gone into it yet. My immediate concern would be that if they can recover it, then obviously that's another opening for somebody else to recover it. So again, yes, it's difficult to be your own bank, but I wouldn't see the difference in using that hardware wallet as opposed to pretty much to an exchange, custodial wallet. I know that you're not then relying on the exchange to always be there using that, so it's probably slightly better than
yes.
But my concern would be that if they can recover it, then so can someone else.
Yeah, and I thought they're using like sharding to push that private key, and using quite a few different method. Now when I read about it, I'm like, okay, look, it sounds secure, but like really when you start looking a little bit deeper, like, okay, maybe it's not that secure. And I would say it's like having that balance for some people, like, okay, when once they put all their wealth in this hardware wallet, and if something goes wrong, right, if it could be like, say, 10-20 million dollars, for example, or maybe not, we're not talking dollars, we might say like, say, 20 or 30 bitcoins, for example.
The problem with this is that even if it's a small amount of any digital asset that you own, be it, an NFT or any sort of type of crypto, it might only be worth, like $50 or $500 now, but 5 years from now,
you just don't know.
You really don't.
You really don't know. Yeah.
My personal preference is that, like, although hardware wallets are great for particular things that you just want to, tuck away and store, software wallets so that they're free to spin up. You can have multiples of them. Don't keep all your eggs in one basket. And if there's one that you primarily transact with, it's not difficult to do a quick transfer from, one of the other wallets into that to then go and use that one to connect to any contract that you may not be across reading or the Solidity code, if it's been exposed and that type of stuff to know exactly what it's doing. So if you're at all skeptical or just want to sort of cover yourself,
of course,
then that would probably be the best solution as a mix of sort of best of both worlds.
Cool. All right. Awesome. So let's talk about where would you start when you come to a forensic, right? If someone say like, okay, I want to do a forensic job.
Yep.
How would you identify? What are the things that you identify, like, as for you to get started?
Well, I mean, for anyone to know that there's any crypto involved, obviously you're looking for, might be a hardware wallet that we were just discussing that's been, located or as part of an investigation. It could be, transactions, emails, bank transfers, fiat bank transfers to an exchange, because you've obviously got an on-ramp somewhere, somehow, at least in the beginning, unless you have crypto that's then peer-to-peer, crypto to crypto exchanged. But it's one of any number of things or a multiple of those that could be evident at any point to even know that there's any crypto involved.
Yeah. Okay. So you used the two words on-ramp and off-ramp.
Yes.
Can you please tell the audience, what do they mean?
On-ramping is simply any means in which you are transferring fiat currency, being like, regular dollars, money that everybody recognizes, to crypto. So generally, you can go to an exchange and either pay by credit card or something of that nature to buy a particular token, and that process is on-ramping. Off-ramping, so if you think of it like, the blockchain is the highway or the motorway, freeway, whatever it's called in wherever you live, then, getting on to the blockchain and then getting off the blockchain. So off-ramping is effectively transferring from crypto asset back to a fiat currency.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that's important for people to understand. People use like the words off-ramping, on-ramping, and as much as it's easy to say, I think it'll be good to add some context, to people, so they know what it really means.
Without digressing too far as well, just wanted to mention, while we're on this subject, because we're talking about on-ramping onto blockchain, but we're specifically talking crypto here.
Yes.
And it was just something that was mentioned the other day, and that is that you don't need to have crypto to use blockchain.
Yes.
This is just one segment of it that we're referring to here, but I think it's an important thing because that's one of the most common misconceptions that people have, that blockchain is crypto, crypto is blockchain. It's not the case at all.
100%.
Yeah.
No, thank you for revealing that and giving that information. Not revealing it, but it's not like magic. Woo!
Just figured it out.
Just figured it out. So when someone, so you mentioned earlier, like with the software wallet, so you can create as many software wallets, software wallets you want on the fly.
Yeah.
Now, so when I do that as an individual, now when I create these software wallets, do I have to use my ID? Do I have to sign up and get approval? Like when I go to a bank, for example, I need to provide my ID. I had to provide this. I had to sign a few documents.
Yeah.
Or even if I go to an online payment, they capture my details and assign something to me, like a number, for example.
Like a bank account.
Like a bank account, for example. So how do you just go online and just create a wallet?
Well, no, you don't need any ID. There's not like when you go to a bank, they require well, at least out here, 100 points of ID. So passport, license, Medicare card, whatever it might be to equal their 100 points. For crypto wallets, that's not a requirement at all. You can literally just buy a hardware wallet. And if you do, make sure that the packaging is intact and that it's all legit and it's come from a reputable place.
That's important.
Because that's another thing to be aware of is that there has been cases of, obviously,
eBay.
It may have been tampered with. You get the hardware wallet, put all of your hard-earned crypto and assets on there, and they magically disappear.
Yeah. So when
spinning up a software wallet or a crypto wallet like this, there's absolutely no KYC or know your customer requirements needed at all. You can spin up as many as you would like. And there's absolutely nothing. Where the KYC and that 100 points is going to come in is back to what we were talking about before, and that is on-ramping. So at least in the majority of places where crypto is regulated and the exchanges are regulated, you would need to provide that ID to the exchange in order to even be able to purchase crypto using a credit card so that they know who it is, so that they can meet, anti-money laundering and anti-terrorism laws and things like that.
Yeah. And I think, so what you're saying is when you go to a centralized ecosystem, like a bank or an exchange in the crypto world, you need KYC. You have to for AML, like anti-money laundering, and KYC is know your customer. So regulation, because those exchanges are governed by using the Australian law,
or wherever they are.
Financial law, right? Yeah. So wherever the country that they're operating in, they have to be able to operate under those licenses. So they need that. Where if you use a hardware wallet, for example, and you own your crypto because you have your private key, you don't need KYC to provide anyone.
But where do you get that crypto from? You can go and spin up a wallet. So if you start from nothing, you can go and spin up a software wallet, a hot wallet, or you can go and buy a hardware wallet. It doesn't really matter. But how do you get crypto in it if you don't own crypto? Unless somebody's gifting you
or mining.
Crypto.
Or mining.
Well, there could be mining. But generally people that are just getting into the space,
of course,
wouldn't have even progressed that far at this stage.
Correct.
So you get the wallet's empty. Obviously, how do you get any crypto in there? And 90% of the time, or 99% of the time, that's done through on-ramping unless somebody is gifting it to you, or you're selling a car and the guy's paying in Bitcoin or something of that nature.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Okay, dope. And also, I just want to mention this to the audience as well. If you have any questions, please message us. And Nathan, behind the screen, will put that on the screen for us so that we can answer any questions that you have. I believe there is a QR code that you can scan. And there's a page as well. So please get involved so that we can answer any questions that you have as well, because it has to be a two-way, Q&A. That's the best way to really add value, right?
Yeah.
Because then we know exactly what you're what you want to know, and then we can add value to you, and it becomes a really good podcast more than anything else. All right. So if you go to the next one, which is the lack of centralized control. So let's talk about that. Now, in this space, how with the crypto
the ecosystem is built, by Satoshi Nakamoto. I don't know if there's a Miss or Mister, right?
They,
They,
perhaps, who knows?
yeah, exactly. So when they built it, they obviously made it so it's not controlled by a centralized body.
Yes.
It's completely decentralized and it's distributed,
Yeah.
right? And if you can we talk about a little bit about, I think this is all going to I'm going to dovetail all this back into later on down the line. If you talk about being decentralized and distributed,
Yeah.
right? Um, what does let's talk about decentralized. What does decentralized means?
Means there's no one central
Body.
governing body controlling it.
Okay, so there are no countries, decentralized countries now.
No.
Everyone wants power, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the beauty of being the crypto world. So there is
Yeah.
not the entire crypto community, but some of them are decentralized, some of them are centralized, and
Yes.
so that's a decentralization. Is back no central control point.
Yes.
Distributed. What does that mean?
It means distributed, whether it be geographically, virtually. Generally, it's geographically,
Geographically,
but
yeah.
distributed, because it could still be one governing entity that has nodes in 20 countries,
Yeah.
which would make it distributed, but it's not decentralized.
Yeah.
It would still be centralized.
Of course.
Then you get to the point when we're talking about centralization and decentralization. If the less number of nodes there are, the less likely that it's decentralized. It could be Bob here, Fred there, and Barry over there.
Yes.
But then you find out they all went to school together. They're all mates. Hang on
Yes.
a minute. This is not as decentralized as I thought it was.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference.
Big difference there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to talk about from being decentralized. Fact is being like, okay, there's no centralized body.
Yeah.
Now with different consensus mechanisms, like how crypto the network being secure, we call it POW, which is
Proof of work.
proof of work, and we got POS, which is proof of stake.
Yep.
And there are so many other
Yeah.
consensus mechanisms, but those are the
two main ones.
Two main ones. And with the proof of work, it was there so that you can have as many people, workers, helping with the mining computational power
Yeah.
to secure the network. But I read that with so much computing power, not long time ago, maybe a couple of years ago, it was in China, but now that computing power has moved to US because China have sort of sort of pushed it down, right? So when that happens, doesn't mean that centralized being less, decentralization being less, and there's a bit of a centralization of computing power coming to.
It's not just that. It's because of the amount, or because the miners are rewarded for doing that proof of work, and average Joe, which is what this whole thing was
not when I say they, again, like I read this, and also you can verify that on chain as well, which is at the moment with the proof of stake, one of the biggest players on the planet with Ethereum is Coinbase and Lido Finance. And again, like because of the pooling factor that you can go and join Lido Finance and put your, you know, 0.5 Ethereum, or that way you don't have to have 32 Ethereum, you know, so you can be part of this pool and you can still get rewarded. Now, again, what they're saying is like now because of that, Ethereum has become this, you know, centralized, you know, cryptocurrency. You know, so I think that has to be, you know, so we just have to be aware of those type of consensus mechanisms. So now, when one gets crypto, so with all these things going on, right? Crypto is such a the crypto means like it's cryptography, you know, graphically, like, you know, it's a mathematical equation algorithm that's safeguarding these, you know, digital, like this ledger. And it uses, I think, I believe it's not all of them, but use elliptic curve, SHA-256, and to secure the network. So when you say like crypto, people understand it's not just open text. People understand it's cryptographical something there, and people think like, oh, that means no one can figure it out where these digital assets are. So because of that misconception, people buy crypto and think, okay, look, okay, no one knows where I have, or they have, or whoever has their NFTs or Bitcoin, or we can call it Pepe's, or you know, or Shibs, or Charlie's Ronan, for that matter, right? So what's your take on it? Can you give a bit of some information to the audience about this factor?
Well, I mean, the blockchain's a transparent ledger. Transparent meaning that all of the transactions are there for everybody to see.
Only in the public.
In public blockchain.
Blockchain.
For the purposes of our discussion here, what we're talking in cryptos and stuff like that. So while people have this, I guess, misconception that nobody can see it, all of the transactions are there. Where that kind of comes into it, though, is while you can see all the transactions, you know which wallets have got what. All you have to do is go and look. The trick, or not the trick, but the interesting bit, and it's not as easy to do as it can sound, but is identifying the ownership of the assets. So you know that they're in that particular wallet.
Yes.
But who owns the wallet? So if you found a wallet out on the footpath with $100 in it, but no license, no name, no nothing, just $100 cash, who owns the wallet? And that's where the fun begins. So,
and that's where the, like you said, when the fun is like, for you guys, it's fun because you got your mindset. It's like a graphic designer now giving a copy of Photoshop, like, oh my God, I don't have to use Paint anymore. Right? And again, like for people who have been doing the track and trace using, you know, the Etherscan and like what is publicly available. Like, so each blockchain has a public explorer, a ledger, for example, that anyone can go put your wallet address and you can see all the transactions that, in and out in that wallet on that blockchain. So whether it's Ethereum, Polygon, or Matic, or Avalanche, or any of them, like all of the blockchain has a public ledger, explorer. Sorry.
And a lot of them have multiple.
And a lot of them have multiple. Okay, can you tell a little bit about that? Like, what do you mean, like multiples?
Well, I mean, obviously with Ethereum, you've got Etherscan, but there are many other, like, blockchain explorers out there for Ethereum that you could use, is what I mean.
Of course,
you're not just limited to one. You can
to one, of course, and it shows, like, you know, whether if the transaction is pending or how long it took or how long ago. So everything is pretty much in the open. It's like having your bank statement in the open without your name.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that it would only display, like, literally transaction details.
Yes.
So it would look like you'd walked into the bank and pulled out a bank statement and there's all the transactions. which is why a little while back we created the one where we could visually see every NFT in a wallet, regardless. So not interested in transactions, don't care how much crypto's in it, just wanted to see the NFTs.
NFTs, yeah.
So there's different types of explorers and stuff like that as well.
I mean, I had to say, like, since we started dabbling in this space few months ago, we have a really cool suite of software now, and then with all the knowledge and what was publicly available, what's in house, and also what we have learned, we have now come up with a really good suite that I mean, you guys tracked 10,000 wallets.
It was almost just under, I think it was 9,800.
9,800 something wallets, right?
Yeah.
We tracked and traced, and it was a massive undertaking. But what really we learned from that was it's not just having the tool, it's having the right people as well. I think it's super important, the communication, the understanding, the skills, and all that. So
you can hand anyone a paintbrush and some paint. It doesn't mean that they're going to create a masterpiece.
Yes.
I know I certainly do. Quickly, just not to digress again too far, but while we're talking about painting, on the
set, yes. All right. Newsflash for anyone. What do they call it? A commercial break.
Commercial. Oh, okay, yes. This commercial break brought to you by Blockstars.
By Blockstars. So we have our next meetup happening on the 6th of June. It's going to be a sip, paint, and mint.
Yes.
So we're going to take that extra bit. The paint, we're going to do the mint as well. So we're going to have 20 canvases. We're going to pick 20 or 20 lucky attendees at our meetup, and they can join and they can do this big painting, as whether it's an individual thing or part of it, doesn't matter. It's as a team, as a group of people, and then we're going to mint it. We're going to show you how to mint that piece of art as a whole. So all 20 canvases together, and then we're going to show you how we put that online. And plus, what will happen is once we auction that the real art piece,
the physical piece,
we're going to donate the earnings of that to the charity of the person who won that auction for the physical art. And everyone who attends the meetup will receive an NFT.
Yes.
The version of that NFT version. So please make sure before you come down, you have a digital wallet. But if you don't, we are more than happy to help you beforehand, but not at the event, because we can show you how to create one at the event, but we don't want to create your own digital wallet at the event. And it's mainly because it needs to have, you have to write down your private keys, and you don't want to writing down your private keys in front of like 70 other people, 80 other people. So for that reason, we can do a bit of a quick guide, show you how to create your first digital wallet. But if you can contact us beforehand, and we can help you to build your digital wallet, to sign up one, and it's going to be a fun day.
I'm hoping so.
Well, all of our events are fun. No one said so far like it's boring, and it's going to be free drinks and pizzas and all that. So it's happening on the 6th of June from 6 o'clock onwards. So it's like, so don't forget, it's on Tuesday, first Tuesday of June. So we'll see you there.
And the only thing they need to bring is their artistic inspiration.
Because we just don't know. You could be one of 20 people who get picked from the crowd. All right. All right.
Thank you.
Back to the podcast. All right. So we just before the commercial break, we spoke about the tools. Right. How important are tools in this space for track and trace? We can, there are some industry leaders like Chainless says, we got with us Clue, we have TRM, we have what's the open source one, the breadcrumbs. And there are a few other, if you search online, you can find the first page of Google, or if you ask ChatGPT, I don't know whether you need to use Google anymore, but if you ask ChatGPT, it's going to it'll spit out all the tools.
Yeah.
So there are quite a few tools out there, and with some tools you get some, but with other tools you don't. And how have we overcome that internally?
The tools are kind of interesting. I mean, your first question was how important are they? Very important. And if I use the literal sort of translation of this, like you wouldn't remove the transmission out of your car with a tree branch. You know what I mean? You need to use the right tools.
Yeah.
Now, if that's a cheap set that have been imported from somewhere that's, not terribly well made, you might have some trouble as well. So it's not just a matter of having good tools or the right tools. It's also knowing how to use them. So like I said, I have absolutely no artistic ability whatsoever. You might find somebody that's brilliant with art, but give them a set of spanners and they're not removing that transmission.
Yeah.
So it's equal parts, I think. So yes, the tools are very, very important, but you also need the expertise to know how to use them.
And what I learned seeing what you guys are doing is that based on the people, the team that you have, there is no out of the box solution.
No.
There's we went through this for quite a bit back and forth, and what we came out was that we start building our own tool set. So what works for us, because the requirements are very different.
Yeah.
Whether you're going to spend this, or we can work out based on few softwares, what's out there, our knowledge, and AI as well. And when I say AI, it's more like machine learning. Machine learning. We got these tools that especially helped us with our 10,000 or 9,800 and something tracking those wallets, where normally you would only track one or two wallet addresses. But I think this is something that really made us really get a awesome coverage in all areas. So what I want to talk about is now, not all crypto can be tracked. Like there's things like Monero, right? If we talk about Monero now, that's built as a privacy cryptocurrency. It's been built from ground up, right? And there's a lot of discussions of how people look at it. Now, purist is perfect for them because that's built for anonymity, privacy, and still it has the capabilities of cryptocurrency for being a cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Where not all exchanges can list these because they are not allowed under their license, because they can't fulfill the KYC,
or depending on the regulations in
the
regulation jurisdiction.
Yeah. So how would that impact the crypto forensics?
A lot is what could happen. But just before we even get into that, it's a really sort of difficult balancing act, because everybody, I believe, is entitled to their right to privacy.
Yes.
So by all means, be anonymous, use it.
Of
you
course.
You don't necessarily need to be doing anything nefarious to be not wanting to share your information
100%.
with anyone else.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is that, okay, but when something goes wrong, you're on your own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same with the custodial and non-custodial wallets. If you have a custodial wallet at an exchange and you can't access it, you can always contact the exchange, get support, get back into your account, you're off and running. That happens, with a non-custodial, it's all over.
Yep.
And it's the same sort of thing. So, there's a big balancing act between privacy and, I guess, ease of use and what sort of consumer protections and things like that can be put in place.
Yes,
so
100%. So if you go from there to what other types of cryptocurrencies are out there with different chains from our experience?
See, and that's the thing. It's not just that you're trying to track necessarily one thing. So if I said to you, right, I lost $10,
Yes.
it's in the office somewhere, you're going to assume that it's a $10 note, it's Australian money, there it is.
Yep.
You're not going to have expected somebody to have picked it up, gone down to the local bank or exchange or something of that nature, fed it into a machine, pulled out, and I don't know what the
Yes.
rate of conversion is, but 4,000 Vietnamese dong, do you know what I mean? And used half of it to pay Nathan for something and something somewhere else. So it's akin to tracking every currency in every country. And not only do the currencies and countries change, but so do the blockchains, as we said. There's different, I guess, methodologies for tracking and tracing on different blockchains.
Yeah.
Depending on how it is, how much data is accessible. I don't want to jump ahead to anything, but the same sort of thing. Like as soon as you go cross-chain,
yes,
it's like, okay, somebody threw the money in a suitcase and left the country and went, somewhere else. So then you've got to pick it up from that point.
Yep.
If it's at all possible. There are things that you could do, and you can make assumptions. If you were driving along a road in the middle of the desert and somebody threw your phone out the window, there's nothing out there but sand, right? And one little shrub, and you stop the car, get out and go, where's my phone? And it's nowhere to be found sitting in the sand, unless it's buried slightly under it, but assume that it isn't. Then there's a very good chance it's under that shrub.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there are some assumptions that you can make in certain circumstances that will help you out.
Okay, cool. So we are just getting closer to our cutoff time. But before that, I just want to talk about the what would you want to talk about? What is important for the audience, when it comes to crypto forensics? Like, you just mentioned about you just word like, okay, if you want chain hopping, right? What are other things like we got? Things like DeFi, mixers, those ones. Can you just give us maybe three? What is your top three things that you would want to leave the audience with?
Top three bits of information.
Yeah.
One, tracking funds through a mixer. It's not impossible, and it also depends on legislation and jurisdiction and how much these entities are abiding by the jurisdictions and regulations of the country.
I guess when you talk about the mixers, I just want to jump in there.
Yeah.
I think if someone who bought crypto using an exchange, for example, and they send those crypto into a mixer, which is like something like Tornado Cash, right? By just sending it to Tornado Cash, it raises red flags. Now they might not be wrong or incorrect, but why would you use a mixer?
If you're not doing anything sketchy, why are you standing there in a balaclava and a long coat at 3:00 in the morning with a rock in your hand outside a shop with a window?
Yeah.
It's exactly that type of thing. Trying to trace that stuff through there. I've used this analogy before. It's like taking a glass of water, throwing it in one end of an Olympic-sized swimming pool, and then having to extract that exact glass of water, not just a glass of water, but that glass of water. But there are, depending on the circumstances, there are things that can be done.
Yeah. Cool.
So,
and what about DeFi space? Now, people use DeFi heavily being used. Like people don't just send crypto to one person to the next person, but now DeFi like staking, that's really pushing how the crypto really disrupting the traditional financial markets. Now, how would forensics teams overcome? How have you worked it out? How to overcome the DeFi aspect?
Well, I mean, there's not really a lot to overcome there. Again, it's just like your mixers and exchanges and things of that nature. It really depends on where it is. But I mean, generally, if you're staking in DeFi, then it's still there. The asset's still there. It hasn't been off-ramped. You'll be able to find it. You'll know where it is. So it's not that big a deal. And even if you are unable to identify who specifically owns it at that point, that's where our monitoring comes in, where you can, keep an eye on real time on funds, wallets, things of that nature.
Can you explain a little bit about that, how the monitoring works?
It's essentially, like I said, 24/7 constant monitoring of wallets or addresses for any transactional activity with immediate alerts.
Yeah.
So if you know that, my $10 note ended up over there in that jacket pocket, hanging off a coat rack, but I don't know whose jacket it is.
Yes.
You sit there and watch until somebody puts that coat on. You go, right, that's it.
Yeah. Cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And that's how it works.
And that's how it works. So, cool. Awesome. We had to wrap it up now. I think there's so much to go through this.
Yeah,
and I think we could do even another, maybe a follow-up podcast to this one, because we can also, have Maureen, who's very knowledgeable when it comes to the sort of regulation, the policies as sort of things as well, and we can really bring that part as well. It's not just a software.
No, it's actually a huge.
It's a huge part of it. So, the beauty of this is that at Blockstars we manage everything. It's not just a track and trace. We also help with the law aspect as well. We can look at it, we can understand what those regulations mean, and we can ask the right questions, which helps rather than being a time waster. Exactly what we can look at it and we can say, okay, this is what it takes, these are the steps, and our team can take further steps based on the advice from our in-house legal and regulation policy team as well. So on that note, thank you so much, Craig.
Thank you.
And I hope we added some value, but it's such a short time span. It is hard, but if you have any specific questions, please hit us up. We are on pretty much every social media platform, but recently we just joined Clapper as well. It's another social media platform, just like TikTok. So we are just going live today for the first time.
If people like the content that you put on, are they swiping right or something, or what's the deal with? I
don't swipe. Don't swipe.
No swiping.
Just there. Just stay there. Yeah. Don't swipe. Yeah. So just put on replay. So please send us your questions, and we are more than happy to answer your questions. And this is such a growing space, constantly changing, constantly evolving as the tech improves, and we are going down this road. So. And we are here to learn as well from you guys, isn't it? From audience. And on that note, thank you so much. And also, I just want to bring up about our meetup.
Yep.
I'll let you tell the audience what our meetup is about.
Sip, paint, and mint. So, as Cozy explained earlier, 20 lucky attendees will get to paint on a canvas or canvases.
Canvases, yes.
Canvases. I think it's canvases.
Yeah.
Which will then auction off the physical artwork. The proceeds of that will go to charity. We will be minting or digitizing and minting the artwork, and everybody in attendance will receive that NFT. So it's going to be a really great fun night.
Yeah.
It's Tuesday the 6th of June.
Yep.
At Duke's Parlour down in Surfers Paradise.
Yeah, it's gonna be an awesome night. Can't wait for it. Oh, by the way, we're gonna do it. We're gonna mint the art piece while we are there. So we're gonna demo the whole process, how to mint a digital art piece, so that we're gonna show you. So anyone attending, they can start minting their own artwork, or their photos or whatever they want. So. Alrighty, on that note, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this episode, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
Subscribe.